Why not try to...
So the left is boycotting Taylor Swift because she announced a new album. Taylor Swift, a pop star they all love because of her music, is releasing a new album, and they're boycotting her. It's not because she said something they disagree with. It's because she didn't say anything about a war in another country between two other countries. So now you get boycotted by the left for agreeing with the opposing side, and also for just not agreeing with anyone or saying nothing at all. Tell me again how Republicans are in a cult.
This isn't happening. This dude is literally just making this up. Like, I'm a part of the left. I go to the meetings all the time about who we're boycotting and who we're not boycotting. Taylor Swift hasn't even come up. What is this dude talking about? And then he says, tell me again how Republicans are in the cult. Those two things, they don't even relate to each other. Like, what are you talking about? If we decided to boycott Taylor Swift for whatever reason, it's not the same as you guys being in a cult. The reason you're in a cult is because you go out and you buy his hats and his shirts and his shoes and his NFTs and his Bibles and all his shit, and you wear them around. And then if anyone ever says anything bad about him, you say, no, he wouldn't do that. He's not that type of person. I kid you guys not. Recently, a friend of mine posted something on Facebook. It was a bunch of pictures of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. One of his friends or people follow him on Facebook says on there, you've never heard of Photoshop before? Guys, like, these pictures are from videos from a party where we've seen the video of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump hanging out. They're like, nope, it's all been doctored. He wouldn't do that. So, like, listen, these people, that's why you're in a cult. That's why we say that you guys are in a cult. And, like, there's so much of this type of bullshit just floating around social media. This next video, this guy is talking about some cards at Hallmark, some Hallmark cards that he came across in a store. And he's like, these Hallmark cards are mahogany cards. That's whack. Why do they need, he's basically saying, why do black people need their own, like, cards, Hallmark cards, right? Why do they need them? He's looking at these cards in a grocery store, and he's triggered by them.
Yo, I'm at Walgreens looking at freaking cards. Does anyone else think that this is whack? Mahogany. There's a whole section of cards for black people, and it's from Hallmark mahogany.
Those Hallmark mahogany cards have been around since 1987. You see, you've never noticed them before because they've been around since before Donald Trump told you that you need to be mad at anything you guys consider woke. So now he's got a bunch of idiots like you running around at stores just looking for something with the LGBTQ flag on it or with a little black girl on it. You're like, they're selling this woke stuff around here. I'm never going to shop here again because it's way too woke for me. We don't do that woke stuff. Woke is broke. Woke is gonzo. That's what Donald Trump says. Woke is gonzo. But yeah, so you're running around like, oh, this woke stuff, It's like the people I've seen say stuff like, why are there HBCUs? Why are there black colleges and there white colleges? All colleges are white. But more importantly, HBCUs came out when there were no colleges that black people could go to. Because there was this thing called segregation that was going on that the government was sponsoring. So they created historically black colleges, which at the time were black colleges, so that black people could go to college and learn. Same thing with the mahogany cards. They were created because there wasn't a lot of representation of black people on cards, so they created Hallmark mahogany cards. No one cared about it. No one made a deal about it, but now Donald Trump has told you, look for woke stuff and make sure you let us know. And that's what you're doing now. And if they're not triggered or just lying about, the left is boycotting Taylor Swift, they're saying dumb shit. They're just saying things that they've been told these lies so many times. The cognitive dissonance in these people, the lack of the ability to just read something, just look in a newspaper, read a book or something like that. But no, instead, they just like to just turn their camera phones on and just say the dumbest shit.
Just because you don't think that transitioning children is radical doesn't mean the average American doesn't find that to be quite radical.
99.999% of any transitioning involving children has to do with social and psychological interventions with a doctor, with the child's parent right there with them. You've just heard from dumbasses like Marjorie Taylor Greene that, oh, they're cutting these kids' genitals off and that's not happening. You guys are just too dumb to do your own research about it. So you're out here thinking, well, they're cutting kids' genitals off? I'm going to make a video about that then. They're transitioning these kids. I need to be outraged about it. You have no idea what you're talking about. And you small government people, that's what you are, right? You're like, hey, the government needs to stay out of our lives. A parent takes their child to see a medical doctor, and they have a conversation about their child. After that at that point, it's not your business. It's not your business when a parent decides to make a decision with their child and their doctor. It's not your business. And I don't really care to explore what's happening there as long as that child is not being abused. And many doctors have decided that these interventions are very important. Why don't you mind your own? Like, that's the problem with these people. They want to be in everybody's business while pretending they're small government conservatives.
Just because you don't think that having men in the highest levels of women's sports isn't radical does not mean that the average American doesn't look at that and say, that's kind of crazy.
Of hundreds of thousands of Division I athletes, there are 10 transgender athletes. And you've probably heard of 2 of them because they're the ones idiots like Riley Gaines want to drag around and use them for political expedience. You don't know about this. This doesn't affect your life. It barely affects anyone's life at all. You've just been told you need to be outraged by this. I've been coaching track and field for 25 years. 25 years. Most people in America don't pay attention to track and field. Suddenly, there's one transgender athlete in track and field, and now all the people who didn't care if a bunch of people were using steroids, if women were being abused in track and field, did not care about it, and suddenly they care. Suddenly, they want that one transgender athlete out of freaking track and field. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're continually proving it.
Just because you think it's okay to be naked on the streets just because it's June does not mean that the average American is like, gross. Why are you allowed to do that? That's actually illegal.
50 years. 50. That's how old I am. I've been on this earth for 50 freaking years. I live in California. I live an hour away from the Bay Area. I have yet to see a person walking around the street naked in any month, and not even in June. What are you talking about? The only way I think you've seen this is because I suspect you're searching it out. I think you're online like, oh, people walking around naked in the month of June. Oh my God, I'm outraged. I just saw something that I searched for. I've never seen it. I'm 50 years old and I live near the Bay Area. I live where the pride parades happen at the highest level, and I haven't seen anyone walking around naked. How is that? How have you seen it as a conservative content creator unless you were searching for it? You were searching for something to be outraged about, and you found it, and now here we are.
And perhaps these sorts of things are the thing that have turned people off to this movement, and that was the point of my video. And all of the people who are unwilling to even think about it from that perspective are the reason that this shit keeps happening. So, I don't know. Good luck, babe. Like, oh God. Good luck.
There's not a single person who was okay with the LGBTQI plus community that are now turned off by the community because there are gay pride parades or because there are transgender women in sports. They're upset because they've always hated gay people. This is like saying a black person did something mean to me and now I hate all black people. That's not how it goes. This is you trying to mask your hate and bigotry under the guise of it's just gone too far. This is what you people do all the time. Instead of just coming out and saying, I think it's gross to me, I don't like it, I don't want to see it, you try to say, you know what, I'd be okay with it if it weren't for that, or if it weren't for that. We're not fooled by this. We know it's hate, we know it's bigotry. Stop lying to us, and more importantly, stop lying to your damn self. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.